been a while since I've done one of these. Today I was speaking to somebody about weight plateaus, and obviously people who try to lose weight, they go into a calorie deficit, and over time they manage to see a reduction in the scale weight, and eventually it just stops going down. Eventually it just stops moving, and it becomes really frustrating because we sit here wondering, well, what's happening? What are we doing wrong? Now, it's easy for us to dismiss this as water retention, and water retention can last anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks. But what happens after those couple of weeks? What if the scale weight is still not going down? You're maintaining your calorie deficit, or what you think is a calorie deficit at this point, because it's been a calorie deficit, it's been successful so far for the last however long you've been doing it. Why is it suddenly stopped? There's something that we call the basal metabolic rate, or the resting metabolic rate. Ever so slightly different, but effectively they're the same. One of them's just stricter than the other when it comes to testing. So what is it? So the resting metabolic rate is how much energy we're burning when we're doing absolutely nothing. When we're just chilling out, when we're just laying down in bed, sitting down, just doing a thing. That's our basal metabolic rate, resting metabolic rate, whatever you want to call it. So as we lose weight, in fact, forget about that. When we're big, when we're heavy, the amount of calories that it takes for us to just survive, for us to just exist, is a lot greater than somebody who's identical to us, with the only difference being that they're a healthier scale weight. Okay? So as we lose weight, as we lose body fat, as we bring that scale weight down, our basal metabolic rate actually reduces over time. We need less calories as we get slimmer. As we become lighter, we need fewer calories to keep us going. So whilst you've been in, say, a 500, 600, 700 calorie deficit, what ends up happening is you have reached your maintenance calorie level. So you're now at, with this deficit that you've been engaging with, well, this has now become the amount of calories that you need to basically survive. So the solution actually is really simple, and with everything it's always easier said than done, but the solution really is to increase that calorie deficit, and we increase that calorie deficit to take us down to a point where we're able to see that scale weight reduce even further. Okay, it's a really interesting thing. So we were talking about this with one of my clients, and she was so frustrated with it, and we explained to her that this is something that you're going to expect to happen, and initially we can put it off as water weight, but if it carries on beyond a reasonable amount of time, then we have to start thinking to ourselves, okay, what is the problem? And the problem is the amount of calories that we need to survive is a lot lower than what it was. And it's a good thing, because it shows that you've actually reduced your weight, or at the very least you've reduced your body fat. So taking that on board, if you find yourself in a calorie deficit, but your scale weight is plateaued for more than an amount of time where you can simply dismiss it as water retention, it may be worth considering reducing those calories down just a little bit more, maybe 100, 200 calories, nothing major. You're talking, maybe half a portion size of one item in your meal. It's a really simple thing to achieve, but it's going to take a little bit of trial and error, because obviously this is going to take you to a new area of uncertainty. You've been used to being in this calorie deficit so long, and now you need to go a little bit deeper. Now, if you're one of my clients, you're fine, because you know already that when your calorie deficit finishes, you can move straight back to the healthy habit that you've formed, eating the maintenance calories that you need. So this plateau is actually beneficial for you, because now it identifies that actually this is the number of calories that you require to be able to sustain a healthy weight. Okay, and you'll see that all of these things fall together like a jigsaw. So you've got your water retention. When that's gone, it's okay. It's because you're at your maintenance calories. And by this point as well, you're eating this calorie deficit, you're eating this amount of food to achieve this calorie deficit. Over the space of time, you've now developed this as a habit. It's ingrained into your brain, so that when you finish your diet, and you revert back to eating normally, well, you don't revert to overeating and overconsuming and putting all that weight back on. You revert to the healthy habit that you've formed being in this calorie deficit so far until you reach that plateau. Does that make sense? If not, pop questions below, send me comments. Always happy to help. Have a good day.